pals, it's me, the Suet Pudding, otherwise known as Wilma Fingerdoo, and the reason that I have no makeup on is that I am going to be reviewing Trixie Mattel brushes. Now, you know I have a love-hate relationship with Trixie Cosmetics, and the love is I want to love her makeup, and the hate is I don't. A lot of the times I find her formulas scratchy, hard to blend. Also, how a drag queen with a reputation for such graphic eyes is incapable of producing a solid black eyeshadow is beyond me. But we're not talking about her makeup. We're talking about her brushes. Now, she has two lines of brushes. The first came out a while ago, and this was her just her brush bundle. It came in this, or you could buy the brushes separately. Now, I'm particular with my brushes. I don't buy brushes necessarily as a set because sometimes there are a lot of brush shapes and stuff I don't like. That said, Trixie also came out with this brush bundle that was part of her Sweet Shop collection, which just came out before Christmas. So this is a 5-brush set in this pack, and I bought a bunch of singles and the fabulous holding case for them. So I'm going to talk to you about these. First of all, this case is $20. It is great because for me, I like to separate my brushes. So I leave this one empty, and as I use brushes, I move them over there so they don't, so I don't get them dirty with each other, type of thing. It's just an OCD thing I think that I have. Now these brushes are fantastic. I got these so early that they're not even branded. There's no branding. There's no name. There's no brush number. There is nothing on these. And because of that, I have the website open. Now, the ones I bought, these are the brushes that I like to use. And because when I saw the release of these brushes, they were, in my opinion, drag queen friendly. I got 2 concealer brushes. This is the P03, and it's a flat concealer brush. It's the small one, $7. And this is the large one, the P04. It's also $7. I've had these for a while, since they came out, and I don't even remember when that was, but it was definitely around my birthday in April because I got a gift card for Trixie for my birthday, and I got this. These brushes are a little stained because I use them. Now, that just happens. These are cruelty-free vegan brushes. All my brushes get stained from different makeup, so I'm not mad. But I've not used that one as much as I've used the smaller one. So we're going to be using those today. The other brush that I love this in any line of brushes, and it's a pencil brush. And I have these. These are the same brush. These are the P06. And they're $7 each. Now, the reason that I got these is because they're just much larger than a regular pencil brush. And for a lot of drag makeup, it's bigger. And I find some small pencil brushes when I'm defining a crease or something, they're too small. It takes me forever. So the minute I saw these on Trixie's release video, I went crazy for them. And so again, these are $7, but I love these. These are not a disappointment to me at all. This is the P10. It's the angled shader buffer. This is a great thing to blend out edges and things like that. And it's huge. Again, I don't have to, a lot of brushes this shape are quite small and they're for detail, but in drag makeup, the details are bigger. So there's that. But the star of this show for me is the P9. Oh, this brush here, $10. So is these. These are the, they're like smudger brushes, but they call these the large flat shader brush. And the thing with this is I can do my crease where I want my crease to be with just one brush and almost one swipe. And I got 2 of these again because I will use these for sure on one look, for sure. So again, the brushes, I had 3 for $10. I got 5 at $7, and the case was $20. You can still get these regular price on Trixie's website, no problem. Now, this little yum yum beauty is the Trixie Mattel Sweet Treats brush set. It comes in this fantastic little shiny bag that looks like a sweetie. And the thing about this, I don't care about cases. Most of the cases that I get things in, I use for other things, hair clips for styling wigs, whatever. So this one I wasn't really worried what the quality was, but this is a nice bag. It is lined. It's fully lined. The zipper is fantastic. Like the size of this bag is great, and the brushes are beautiful. Now, one of the things I'm not a fan of is like a clear acrylic brush handle. I don't know why. I like the wooden ones. These are also flat on the end, which is weird. Like when I'm holding them, I just get that edge. It's not a deal breaker. It's just different. But this brush set with the bag, 5 brushes and the bag, regular $60. It's still, as of my taping today, on sale for 35. So I would check that out uh, before too long. It might go back up to 60. But even then, I'm just going to say, these are gorgeous brushes. But I've used this brush already. This is the H21 powder brush. It's so soft. This is lovely. I'm going to use this to brush off some of the powder that I have on my face. Not all of it, but some of it. This is the large buffer brush. I don't even know what you would use that for. Maybe to buff out some edges with your contour, or again, I don't use a lot of complexion brushes. I usually just use a sponge, but this one I think would be good for buffing out eye liner, under the eye, just buffing it out. This might also be good for, because it's dense, it might be good for highlighter. I don't know. I don't often use brushes for the reason that they're made. This is the brush that worries me. This is the H19 angled setting brush. So I'm assuming that this is like for putting powder, setting your under eye, because it's angled. Maybe it's for putting on some highlighter. I'm gonna try it for highlighter today because I don't think that the H20, which is what this one is, the buffer brush, would be the best for highlighter. But I think you could use it if you needed to. So these 3 brushes are more in keeping with what I'm used to. This is the H19. This is the flat tapered packing brush. This is good for putting, especially in a line, like if you're trying to get like your shape defined, maybe under the eye. That's a nice brush for that because it's flat, so you can get like a thinner line. This is the H17 dense blending brush, and again, it's super soft. These are super soft. I'm not saying all brushes aren't, that these are softer than, but I've certainly had some brushes that weren't soft, and I'm liking the quality of these for sure. And then the last brush, I love a brush like this. This is the H16 short smudger brush. This is a great brush for smoking out your eyeliner if you're doing a smoky look. I also like this kind of brush to blend out my crease a bit, to kind of, so it doesn't look like a magic marker line, like to just blend it out. These are great. So we're going to throw on a face. The makeup that I'll be using is all from the Beauty Bay Midnight palette. This is a gorgeous blue and purple palette. If you don't know it, then you live under a rock. But this is, Beauty Bay is one of the best makeup companies. They're from England, if you're not aware. And their formulas are great. And the nice thing about this is there's some glitters and there's some uh, shimmers. There's also some great blending colors. I think this is a really well-rounded blue palette. If you like blue, purple, that color, blurples in around there, this is spectacular. I know this was on sale over the holidays. I think it's regularly around 30 bucks Canadian. It's not expensive for 42 shades. I have never bought a palette from Beauty Bay full price. I always get them on sale because they're always having sales. So with that said, I am going to be grabbing my favorite primer, which is Juvia's Place. I use the lightest shade. I don't even know what it's called. Shade 1. Just shade 1. The thing with Juvia's Place is you have to remember to shake it. I use this well, not every day, but every other day, maybe, you know, it doesn't separate when it's just sitting for like a day or so. But I just I just get into the habit of, and you don't need to shake it as much as I'm talking, so I'm stalling. But I like to, I just like to use this. I find that this primer is, I, I've never had a problem with any primer, to be honest. But it's a looser primer. It I feel like this is one that it just goes on smoother. It doesn't crease as much. And I'm going to be using that large concealer from the Trixie Mattel collection. And again, none of my brushes are marked. They don't even have a Trixie Mattel logo on them. And I kind of like that. I don't know why. That just tickles me. But I'm sure that this brush is better used for concealer, but this is how I like to put on my eye primer. I like to tap it in. I have very hooded eyes, and I have a lot of, old eye skin. You heard me. And I find sometimes patting it on is better. But yeah, so that I think that goes on really nice with that brush. No bristles, easy application. Nobody got hurt. I am going to take my powder brush from the Sweet Treats collection, and I'm just going to take off some of the bake that I have on because I also put some on my eyebrows just to get the under brow set in white. So I just like to get that off as much as I can. Leave the bake on here so if anything falls out, I'm kind of covered. This is the thing I like about Beauty Bay is there's not a lot of fallout with their stuff. But yeah, that's gorgeous. I love that. I would use that. Uh, I would have no trouble using that every day. So now we're going to go into Beauty Bay. This is a very, very dark blue in the corner, Midnight. And I'm going to take one of my favorite large shader brushes, these flat ones. This is like a very large smudger brush to me. And now you're going to see why I like these. So I just pack the color on, and I can literally get my shape in one go. I don't have to take any, look at the, as I say, I've been using these unbranded brushes with the wooden handles most of this year, since at least April. And I really love them. They've integrated into my brush collection well. I do reach and search for the Trixie brushes, but I've done faces without them and thought, oh, I could have used that big packer brush or that pencil brush. And it just sometimes, you just get caught up in the moment and you forget you got stuff to do, stuff to use. And then the nice thing with this is too, you can do some blending, get your edges blended out. With the same brush. I like to try and use as few brushes as possible if I can at all make that happen. It's not always the case. I just noticed that I was doing a lot of makeups where I had like 30 or 40 brushes all needing cleaning after. It's like, I do have a color switch, which I will use from time to time. I find the best thing is to have a terry cloth towel on your lap and just run the brush over that, and the terry cloth texture will take a lot of powder off, so you can use them to clean your brush in between uses. Also find if you hold up, sometimes I find if I'm looking down all the time, especially with the shape of my eyes being hooded, I can miss a lot of symmetry. And then I'm going to take the other flat packer brush, and I'm going to go in with this color here. These are great. I can't really read any of these. That's, think it says bingo or binge, but this beautiful, this beautiful peacock blue right here. Yeah, I like this color. So again, I'm just tapping it in. And then right on that edge, I want to diffuse that deep blue that I just used. I'm going to go in here. I think this is called High. This very smoky light blue. It's almost a white. It's definitely an off-white. I'm going to put that on this. And I'm going to use that to blend out this lighter blue just a bit. I really like this brush. It is very, I don't think I've used a blending brush this big. And I'm okay with this. This is all right. Now I'm going to go back in with that medium blue shade, High. Just want to blend this out a little more. Yeah. Well, lovely. And then I'm going to go back in with the first packer and that darker blue, which is down here, and just remind it where I want it the darkest one. And the reason I like this size of brush is like when I'm doing a shape like this, I can turn it as I'm going so I can direct. You can also use them sideways. But I feel like this size of brush really cuts down a lot of my makeup time because it just covers so much area. And especially with drag makeup, you're doing such big graphic looks, like big oversized eyes, and you can just take forever to get that shape buffed out and everything if you're using a smaller brush because you're just not covering as much area like this one. This one I think is great. I didn't, the rest of the brushes in her collection look fine. The reason I didn't get more in the original collection is just because I didn't need them. I didn't need a lot of the shading and the buffing and all of that. But I really, as I say, I'm really a huge fan of the flat ones and the pencil brushes. Speaking of, I'm now going to take the pencil brush and the Rex, I think it's called. This is the black in this palette. And now I'm just going to go in with this and just darken up that crease. Just that little bit. This can come into my eyelid a bit. It is okay. I'm not seeing a lot of fallout, which is not as much a quality of the brushes as it is the makeup itself, but still, this is what I'm talking about with the pencil brush. With a pencil brush that big, otherwise, this is a regular pencil brush, just a nice rounded pointed brush, and this is the size of this one. Clearly, two different sizes, and as I say, I just find I get more use out of this one, especially if I'm in a rush. I like sometimes you don't want to be fussing. You want to still be precise and you still want to put what you want where you want, but if you have to go over everything 40 times, then what's the point, God darn it. All right. Yeah, I think that that's looking really good. I'm going to take the dense packer again. I don't have a terry cloth, so I'm actually going to use just paper towel just to get any of that lighter shade off. And then with this, I'm just going to try and blend out the black only, just a little. I don't want it to travel, but I don't want it to just sit there also. So I'm actually going to dip into that medium blue with this and buff out that edge just that little bit. So it's not, I don't want it to look like a marker, like I've drawn on my makeup with a marker. I love blue makeup. I think in a past life I lived in a motor court, mobile home motor court, and was a cashier at the Piggly Wiggly. Not that there's anything wrong with being a cashier at the Piggly Wiggly. It just, there's just a level of this blue makeup obsession I have that I think speaks of that. I was going back in. I when I'm blending something out, I like to dip into the colors that I like, the different colors. So I'm going between the darkest blue and the medium blue here, and now I'm going to take that very light blue again, but on the buffer, and I'm just going to take it on this edge, just that little bit. I just want to buff that out. It doesn't need to be as dark as that. Then bring all that color back in, just in here. I want to send a big old shout out to Martha Grunwald, one of my fabulous Patreoners. Of course, she's a queen and just an all round great supporter of not just the channel, but me, because she sent me these brushes as a Christmas present. I often will get a message from her saying, I'm making an order. Can I get you anything? And it just tickles me. A lot of the time I don't like I feel I feel kind of like, oh, I don't know, I don't need anything, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to seem ungrateful or what have you. But uh, these brushes, like the thing was, I didn't really. I'm at a point now where I think I've got all the brushes I need, but I was so intrigued by Trixie's first collection of brushes. I just wanted to see how these were. And from what I'm doing, that like as I said, I'm using the old one in the extra large packer, and then this is the dense blending from the new collection. Sweet treats, and I think that that looks pretty good. I am going to take. Oh, I know. Let's use this little guy, the little smudger from the sweet treats. I'm going to take this shimmer. I don't know what it's called. I'll tell you later. I just want to put some of this up into here to highlight my brow bone. And although I'm not smudging this, I like that this is dense, because sometimes with shimmers, if your brush is too loose, it won't apply the shimmer correctly. And these shimmers in the Beauty Bay formulas are gorgeous. Like I can put that down. You can see how dark that is, but as soon as I buff it out, it can become quite sheer. And I like to get that shine in there. The thing I love about this is it's pointed. There's a bit of a point on it, so it really seems to make the detail work. Like I'm putting it right where I want it. It's not kind of like hit or miss. You know how some brushes are just their bristles are long enough that there's a play and you go in and it bends or it ends up splaying into areas you don't want it to. This is not doing any of that. Ooh, that's all right. But I'm taking my P. Louise eye primer to cut my crease. And I am... And I like to tap this. I'm only doing a half cut. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is all right. Normally I use a flat concealer brush, a flat edge, because I feel like you get a better line, but this isn't, even though this is pointed, this isn't bad. I'm not hating this. And it's flat, so the nice thing is you can just pat it right down where you want it. We're going to use the flat packer now to put on, I want to put on a blue shimmer, a couple of them actually, and I'm going to grab my setting spray. I'm using the NYX Matte finish. This blue shimmer, the first one I'm going into, is very dark. It's called Queen. Just going to spray just a bit. I'm going to start here. Oh yeah, this is good. I can feel the fallout happening from this already, which is fine because shimmers tend to, their formula tends to let them be a little more flaky. I am going to run this over this paper towel, but I'm going to use the actual other side of the brush like that. I'm going to use the other side for another shimmer. This one's called Sky. Very peacock blue. I'm going to use that here. Yeah, that's going on very, very wet, like it get like a wet surface. Yeah, I like that. Same here. Now, because I have the dark one on the other side, I can now take the dark side and brush some of this. I could even go back in and just brush some of this darker shimmer forward, just to get a nice blend in there. Now I'm going to take this is that flat smudger. It's rounded, but it's a flat smudger, and I'm going to take my P. Louise primer on this, and I'm going to do my waterline with it because it's waterproof. So now what I'm going to do is just finish the look. I've used all the brushes. The only two I haven't used yet are these two. And I still can't figure out what I'm going to do with them. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I use them on my blush and contour a bit. So just let me do the rest of my eyes, and we'll be right back. And here's the finished look. Of course, we used the Beauty Bay Midnight palette, but this is not why we're here. We're here for the brushes. We have the Trixie Mattel regular brush collection, which you can buy as a full set for, I think, 110, regularly 130, or you can buy them individually like I did. And, of course, there is the Sweet Treats collection. Comes in this gorgeous, and I can't say this enough, it's beautiful. It's lined. This bag is stunning. And the 5 brush set, which I actually used all 4 and I still can't figure out what to do with that one. I was going to use it for my highlighter, but it seemed very small. So we'll figure out what to do with that one. As I said, you get all 5 with this set, but if you're looking to get individual brushes, this regular set, which is 130 on sale, or maybe the discount price of buying it as a bundle is 110. I got the brushes individually. These bigger ones were all $10, and then the rest were all 7. Not a bad price. And I think I used all of them but those 2. I like to get doubles of things that I like because I use them. So the smudgers, I got 2. I think that this look came out beautifully. The brushes blended everything well. I do also like the size of the brushes. As I said, it makes the application much faster than fussing with smaller brushes. And I'm not a day walker. I'm a drag queen. I need big, bold, beautiful looks, and I need big, bold, beautiful brushes to do that. And they are definitely in the Trixie Mattel standard collection. But the Sweet Treat one, there's nothing wrong with these brushes, I'll tell you. This blender did a beautiful job with everything. The powder brush, fabulous, as a powder brush should be. I will say that there were no surprises with the Trixie Mattel brushes. I think that they did as good as any brush did. So what do I give them out of 10? I'm going to give them 10. I've given brushes less. I think all brushes are good brushes as long as they work for you. And I think with these, I prefer to buy the singles, but this Sweet Treats collection is not, I'm not sorry that I got this. Again, thanks to Martha Grenwald, my Patreoner, who sent these to me for Christmas. And actually, I want to thank her for these too, because she sent me a big gift card for my birthday and I used it to buy these. So I recommend them. If you're looking for brushes, you want something a little local that's an American company. I'm in Canada, so it's a little easier to get these shipped here than, say, brushes from Britain. But I wasn't disappointed with them. I think they would have lost points if there had been a brush bristle shedding. I haven't washed. I've washed these ones. I've washed these ones a few times, and nothing's wrong with them. None of the bristles loosen. They stay in pretty good shape. You get the odd splayed bristle, but as long as you let them dry, like you kind of coax them to dry, the bristles usually will stay in. They're cruelty-free, vegan. They're great. And as I said, the Trixie Mattel Sweet Treats brushes, they're new to me. They worked as good as the other brushes that Trixie sells. Now, the difference between them is minimal. One's got a wooden handle, one's got an acrylic handle. This is a rose gold ferrule. This is a ferrule, and this is a pink ferrule. I love that they're pink. I like pink. I don't have a problem with pink, so I'm happy to have them. There are no color options right now. There are just 2 different collections that you can choose from, and as I say, I think that they're good brushes. You can't certainly you can do worse, but I don't know. I have MAC brushes that are as good as these, so I think it's really down to whose brushes do you want on your face. And for me, I don't mind having Trixie on there. She's part of my collection of brushes. I have a lot of different brands, some brandless, some you recognize, but these fit right in. They absolutely don't underperform. They're not overperforming either, but I can't imagine what a brush needs to do to overperform except put the makeup on for you. So I would highly recommend you picking these up. I'm going to put a link to Trixie's brushes specifically down below in the description box. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And also, in the description box are links to my Redbubble store, becoming a Patreon on, a part of the Fingerdoo family on Patreon, and leaving a tipper due. Until next time, stay beautiful and miss me! Mwah! Seriously. What am I going to do with this weird